If you are seeking wealth and abundance in your life, then this can be one of the most important videos that you watch this year. Now, I want you to understand this. You are not stuck in terms of your finances and income and wealth because you are lazy, because you are not worthy of it, or because you don't have that in you to experience abundance. You may be working very, very hard. You might have read all the books and made plans and taken the risks, and still the number moves a little and then settles right back where it always sits. Meanwhile, someone with half your ability and experience and skills is doing better, and you cannot explain why. And underneath all of it, you might have certain resistances that you might never have said out loud. Maybe you feel money is not spiritual, or maybe you feel you need to work really, really hard to earn money and to experience abundance, or at a deeper level, you may feel you are not fully worthy of it. And here is what almost nobody notices from the ancient Bhagavad Gita. In 18 chapters, 700 verses on duty, morality, death, the eternal self, enlightenment, but it ends on a promise of wealth and abundance. There is an important verse in Gita which is among the final verses, and it does not tell you to choose between spirituality and wealth and abundance. It says you can embrace all of it. And it also names a single condition. And if we can achieve that condition in our lives, prosperity and abundance is said to be certain. It's guaranteed. By the end of this important video, you will know exactly what that condition is and why the reality was never the source of scarcity to begin with, and the one thing in you that has to open up before wealth and abundance can flow into your life. But before we get into that verse and the secret to abundance, you will have to understand the nature of reality. And to do that, you need to understand one powerful word and concept from Adhvaitha Vedanta and the Upanishads, and that is Purnam. Purnam is said to be the nature of reality. This is how the ancient rishis described reality, and this is what Adi Shankara propagated. That reality is Purnam, it is complete, it is full. There is no gap in reality, there is no scarcity in reality. The Ishopanishad, one of the prominent Upanishads in ancient Sanatana Dharma, starts with this invocation. It says Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate, which means that which is God is Purnam, it is abundant, it is full, it is complete. And this, which is you, are also complete, you are also abundance, you are also that fullness. The Upanishads doesn't differentiate between you and God, you and the universe. And the same pattern is continued with all the other Upanishads. When the Upanishads say Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi, they are describing the same pattern, the same truth. So what I want you to understand today is this. Abundance is the nature of reality. Abundance is wired in this existence. Abundance is actually what there is right now. And I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to observe reality. You just take anything for that matter. You look at water, you look at air that we breathe, you look at the earth, you look at these microorganisms which have this extremely elaborate, abundant ecosystem. You look at the forest, you look at the animals, you take a step back and look at the entire universe. There are trillions of stars and planets and galaxies. There is endless resources in the universe. Abundance is everywhere. There are so much of colors, so much of beauty, so much of wealth, of so many things in this world. Even if you look at your own life, you are abundant in so many ways. You have abundance of relationships, of love, of connection, of resources. Because of internet, you have abundance of information because of which you are able to see and understand this today. You might be stuck in your finances or wealth, or maybe you are earning well, but still you would like to improve in that area. That's totally fine. We will come to that. But first, I want you to understand the essence of reality. That is what the Upanishads say. Purnam, or this abundance, this completeness, is the nature of this existence. It is the nature of who you are. But your mind and the ego, because of your limiting beliefs, because of your conditioning, because of what your parents said was possible for you, or because of your beliefs about money and spirituality and how money is not spiritual, all these beliefs and limitations are stopping you from experiencing your own abundance, your own Purnatva. And once you uncover this today, everything will make sense. So there is no scarcity anywhere in the universe. The only scarcity is in what you believe to be true and your identifications. Now, with that, we need to come to something which is very, very important. We need to understand the four attainments of human life. Vedanta talks about dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. These are the four fundamental attainments of human life. It is called as the purpose of life. Each and every one of us are seeking any one of these at any given point in time, and Vedanta makes a point that dharma should be the foundation. You living your purpose, you being morally right, should be the foundation, and with that criteria you can pursue anything. Artha is your wealth and power and money, kama is your sense pleasures, and moksha is liberation. And as per Vedanta, dharma should be the foundation, moksha is the ultimate goal for each and everyone. But that doesn't mean kama and artha are not important. In fact, the entire world is around this, they are pursuing this. That's why we need to understand the intricacies of the Purusharthas. In the ancient Vidhuraniti, and also if we study the works of Chanakya, Artha or wealth is described as the foundation for society. It is described as the foundation for dharma and kama. Even for the society to be moral, right? There needs to be artha, there needs to be wealth. And I want us to understand all of this through observation. Look at different societies in the world today. Look at different economies. There are certain countries which are morally suffering, where there is highest exploitation, highest corruption, where there are highest killings and all sorts of brutality. And if you observe their economy is suffering. Their economy is bad. They don't have wealth. They don't have the artha in that economy or in that country is not very strong. Yet at the same time, take a look at some of the greatest economies in the world. I'm not saying they're morally perfect. There is still greed, there is still exploitation, but they are in a much better situation to handle things because of the systems, because of the constitution, because of the police force, because they are financially strong. And even for our life to function in the right way, artha is very important, wealth is very important. Without me attaining some level of wealth, I could not have dedicated my life to this, to building ACS and to give these transmissions. And similarly, as we are building this organization, as we are thinking about expanding, wealth is the fuel for that. It's the same way for your life. Whatever your aspirations are, your goals are, and even if you keep your aspirations aside, for you to function in the right way, for you to take care of your family, for you to have food and shelter, artha is the foundation, wealth is the foundation. I'm saying this because I want you to acknowledge and accept the importance of wealth. We should stop treating wealth and money as something which is unspiritual. Everything is spiritual. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Every aspect of this existence is consciousness, it is divine. It just depends on how we see it and how we use it. So, that's the importance of understanding these four attainments. Even ultimately, moksha can come to a person if he has completely come out of that tendency to want artha. So that's important to understand. With that, we will come to one of the most powerful verses in Bhagavad Gita, with which everything will fall into place for you. Now, everything I have said so far has been leading to this. The last verse of the Gita answers exactly that question, and it is the verse almost every commentary reads too quickly. I have tried to read this verse from different translations, but how I interpret it is totally different. This is, according to me, one of the very important verses for a householder. That is for you and me who are living our lives in this modern world as professionals, entrepreneurs, who have families, who have businesses, and so on. And this comes from the 18th chapter of Gita. And the verse goes like this: Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutar Dhruvanetar Matar Mama. And the meaning of this verse, if you truly understand this, you will never face scarcity in your life. At least in my life, once I understood the meaning of it, I have stopped seeing scarcity. Wherever there needs to be abundance, there is abundance. Wherever I need money, money will come. Wherever I need certain people and certain resources, they appear for me. And I credit it to Krishna, to that consciousness, to God. And I hope this will give you the same. And the translation of the verse is this: wherever there is Krishna, the infinite consciousness, God, and where there is Arjuna, there is prosperity, there is victory, there is wealth, there is expansion, there is morality, there is righteousness and abundance. Now, here is where we need to go a little deeper, because translation only points to the surface level of the truth. Here's how I interpret it from the worldview of Advaitha Vedanta. Krishna represents the infinite consciousness, your higher self, your spirit, your infinite intelligence. Every culture points to this in some way. Jesus said, "Seek the kingdom of God and everything else will be added unto you." Every major culture and school of thought and philosophy at some level points to a higher self that we have, to that consciousness, to God, or whatever you would like to call it. Now that is Krishna. Now, the thing about Krishna is he is beyond time space. Krishna doesn't mean a body, it doesn't mean a form, but it is the limitless truth. It is the foundation for this reality. It is in and through everything. It is here right now. Krishna is here now. He is accessible for me, he is accessible for you, he is accessible for everyone. It is that dimension which is always available for us, which is waiting for us to ask for help and to help us. So that is Krishna. So, first part of the equation we need not worry about. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, we don't have to think about that because Krishna is always there. And the verse says, wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, there is Shri, Vijayo, Bhuti, Dhruva, Netir, Matir, Mama. Shri means opulence and wealth. Vijaya means success and victory. Bhuti means prosperity. Dhruva means unending. Nithi means righteousness and morality. So all of this put together, we can call it abundance. Every form of abundance, righteousness, money, success, everything will come to a place when this equation matches. When there is Krishna and when there is Arjuna, and when there is a connection between Krishna and Arjuna. Pay a lot of attention here, because only if you grasp this will it make sense for you. So like we already covered, this part of the equation, it's already taken care of. Krishna is already there for us. This part of the equation is the outcome. Abundance, wealth, success is the outcome. Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvanetar Matir Mama. That also we need not worry about, because that will anyways come. Money will anyways come. We need to look for the system. What we need to do to make it happen. All we need to focus on is the middle here. Is this connection between you, right? Between Arjuna and Krishna. And what I want you to understand here is that in the worldview of Gita, Arjuna represents a seeker, one who is stuck, one who lacks clarity, one who doesn't know what to do, one who cannot differentiate between dharma and adharma properly, one who doesn't understand his purpose, and one who is confused. That is you and me. We are this, we are Arjuna. And so this image represents you and this represents Krishna, and the equation says, the verse says, wherever there is Arjuna and Krishna, wherever there is a connection, right? Even if we look at the chronology of this verse, it comes at the end of Gita when Arjuna completely has surrendered to Krishna. right? That means when we become like Arjuna as he surrendered to Krishna, we will embody that consciousness of Krishna. We will embody the grace of Krishna. We will begin to access the power of Krishna. Then there is all forms of abundance in life. Then there is all forms of success and prosperity in life. So abundance is not created. There is nothing to be created. Creation is already done. Creation is the job of the divine. Creation is the job of God. It is the job of Krishna. Krishna has already done his job. If we want to experience abundance, we need not create abundance, but we need to notice abundance. We need to see abundance. We need to see ourselves as abundant, and we need to see the real truth behind who we are. We need to see Krishna, the higher self, and we need to connect with it. We need to channel it in our life, right? And that can change everything for you. So from today, one shift I want you to take, if you're thinking on how to make it practical, is that stop seeing scarcity. Remove all these limiting beliefs and see abundance everywhere. Notice abundance everywhere. This world is a divine manifestation of Narayana. That's how I look at it. And Narayana is the sustainer of the universe. He represents complete opulence and abundance. And how can there be any kind of scarcity in the manifestation of God? Scarcity is created by human beings. Because of our minds, because of our clutter, because of our karma and our limiting beliefs, we create scarcity. And the moment we disidentify from all of it, the moment we step back and realize Krishna, that's when abundance naturally manifests in our life. So begin to see abundance everywhere. And if you want to make Purnam, both inside and outside, a real truth in your life, and there is a system for this. There is a framework which you implement for 3 to 6 months at an identity level through self-awareness. You can completely reprogram yourself for abundance. And one of our members who was struggling in her relationships, in her job, in her income, completely changed her life in a matter of a few months when she understood this connection and when she understood how to work at the level of identity.